Welcome to this episode of VIT Today's The Next Step. Today we have with us Parth Gupta, who is a 2020 BTech IT graduate from VIT University. Parth started working towards his own company in his fourth year and is now working director for Casina Diamonds. Hi Parth, we're really glad to have you here with us.
Okay, hi guys. Thank you so much for having me. Before we begin, I wanted to say that you guys are doing a great job. Kudos to Sarthak and the team, and keep
Thank
it
you
up.
so much. Thank you so much. So, Parth, we're all really curious to know about your inspiration for Casina Diamonds. What made you get into the business of selling diamonds?
Okay. So it wasn't actually an inspiration to sell diamonds. I was always inspired since the beginning of my college life. I was always inspired to do something new. And I mean, I can say that, the inspiration or the thing that actually drove me to this point is my eagerness to do something new. So how I actually connect this to being something new is that these diamonds, the product that I actually sell, are very new to the market, and it's actually a new invention. So when I was in college, when I was in fourth year, and I was deciding what I should actually do in future or what should be my career options, I was going through various industries, and I found this particular product, which is lab-grown diamonds, and it was relatively new compared to the industry, and it is something very innovative. So you could say that that was the inspiration why I chose this particular product and this particular industry. But other than that, my inspiration to actually be an entrepreneur and to actually start my business has been my 4 years of college. How and why I actually say that is because throughout my college life, and I think everyone in VIT could probably relate to this. Throughout our college lives, we are given tremendous amount of opportunities, and through which I realized that I can actually do this. I can probably do this. So going through those opportunities, working my way through the 4 years of college, I realized that I'm actually good at marketing.
Right.
So after that, I thought that okay, I really want to open a marketing firm, but that didn't actually pan out because while I was discussing this with my dad, he told me that you could probably go for something that is related to our family business. So my family is actually in the jewelry sector industry. So I gave it a thought and I realized that if I really want to do if I really want to open a marketing firm or if I really want to do any sort of business, having that support from my family, that hand would be really helpful. And if in the end it is what I want to do, marketing is what I want to do, I can actually market this product as well with the
Right.
support. So that's how I decided that okay, I should open this particular company for this particular product.
Right. So, as you mentioned that you grow your diamonds in a lab, which I think is a great idea to avoid all the trouble of mining diamonds. How do people react to this, and how do they value lab-made diamonds over or as compared to mined diamonds?
So there are various things. Firstly, talking about growing diamonds in a lab. Again, like I said, it's a very new thing to the market. Even though it was invented back in 1950. I mean, when I tell people this, they are very shocked because they're like we're hearing about this for the first time, and I have never
Mhm.
seen this. So the reason why it took them so many years to actually get this to the market is because they wanted to do their R&D properly. I mean, if I'm actually calling a diamond a real diamond, it should actually be a real diamond. And there
Right.
are certain characteristics like shape, color, clarity, different characteristics on which they depend. So, firstly, people were very reluctant and very curious about lab-grown diamonds. But when people started learning about the different benefits of this, they were very open to it. I mean, if I were to name the specific benefits that I'm talking about, is that the first thing is it's 60% cheaper than a natural mined diamond. So that is the biggest benefit that people see. And secondly, and more importantly, which I feel is that it is environment friendly.
Yeah.
Because mining a diamond, we have to go through different stages. The first stage is mining, which causes a lot of land degradation, water pollution, different things. And you must have heard about blood diamonds.
Yeah.
So these diamonds actually eradicate the possibility of all those things, and then they are 60% cheaper. And then people were actually pretty open. So they started in Canada and USA in 2005. And you know how these Western people, the USA citizens and Canadian citizens, they were very open to the idea of them of these diamonds being environment friendly. So I would say in India, I was still a little not. I was not sure if people will be so open about these diamonds, since in India, we Indians have a different value for diamond, which is more related to weddings and something that you give your daughter while she's getting married, and that is like very religious in India.
Yeah.
So I was very. I mean, I was not sure if people will actually be open to this, but in the last 1 year, I've seen that people are trying to adapt this technology, and how it actually took Indians 5 years to adapt online shopping. I am sure that it's not going to take that much time this time for
Right.
a new product.
That's great. Now, so you started working on this in your fourth year, right? So, college work and the work of setting up an entire business can be very hectic, and they're both very different things to do at the same time. How
Agreed.
did you manage your priorities?
So, I mean, this is a very tricky question because if you ask me, I am the worst at managing any of my priorities or anything, in fact. So, when I was in first year, I was very bad at it. And one thing I realized that, I should really learn how to manage my time. So, in first year, I joined all the clubs, all on merit. I joined like 5 clubs, different clubs. And I thought that, I'll be able to manage it. But slowly, when I was in second year, third year, the academics load was higher, and the work from the club and chapters was also pretty. It was a lot. So that's when I realized that the first thing I should learn out of my college life should be time management. I mean, it can take you 3 years, it can take you 4 years, it can probably take you 10 years, but there is nothing that you cannot learn in some certain amount of time. So it took me 3 years to realize that I really need to prioritize stuff in terms of what I actually care about, or probably what I actually like to do. So that's when I realized that during your college life, you should probably, by the third year or fourth year, you should probably streamline your opportunities, or probably streamline your interest in terms of co-curriculars. And academics, I think it's one of the most important things, academics, which people do not really care about in college. They think that they're in some club or chapter, I can just let go of academics. I mean, that doesn't happen, because if you do that, you have to stay longer than you're supposed to, and I was not ready to do that. So I always paid attention to my academics. I was always working for clubs and chapters, and I always kept ample amount of time for my fun as well. Because I mean,
Right.
I've seen a lot of my fellow mates doing this, that they only either work or study. I cannot do that, because if I do that, I won't be able to focus on either of the things. So one more thing I can add to this about managing time: just know what you like more. I mean, just know what you like to do.
Right.
Just be realistic, and have that acceptance that, okay, I actually like to do this, or probably I'm here just because of somebody else, and probably I should not be doing this. I mean, these are some things that you need to clear out in your head first, and then move forward. I mean, I'm not saying that you should not join a lot of clubs. I think that is one of the biggest and the best thing in VIT, that you can join a lot of clubs, but then still prioritize your want, I can say, whatever you want to do.
Right.
So that worked well for me. I mean, I just knew that I want to do something here in this particular sector. So fourth year summer, I decided I'm going to do this. I paid attention to my studies, and I started working on this side by side, and enjoyed my last sem as well.
That's great. So you kind of deviated from your field of study, and I think there are a lot of students do that, especially in engineering colleges. What would be your advice to someone who does is not doing something that they want to do, and they're not just following their passion; they're just doing it for a degree?
Okay. So I think 90% of engineers in India, 90%, minded when I say that, 90% of engineers in India are not actually doing engineering because they really want to do.
Right.
Half of them are doing it because they didn't really know what to do, and they were smart in school, so they thought I should take science. Half of them are doing it because their family wanted them to do it. Half of them are still clueless why they're doing it. So I mean, I don't think that people actually join engineering because it's their passion. I think people start doing engineering because it is the most vast field. It has the most opportunities. Secondly, talking about how I deviated from my path was again talking about the club that I joined in first year. One advice that I would give to each and every junior, or probably anyone who's in college, is that do not be afraid of joining these clubs and chapters. I mean, never be afraid. Some reasons that I've seen my juniors not being part of something bigger than themselves is because they're scared that they might not do well, or probably people might laugh at them. I mean, all those things don't really matter. I, on the other hand, when it came to college, joined 5 clubs, and in those 5 clubs, what I actually learned was what my interests were. If I had just joined probably one club, let's say ISEC, I might not have known that I'm also good at marketing. So different clubs taught me different things, and that's how I realized that okay, I can actually be jack of all trades, and I can be really good at one thing. So all those things helped me a lot before opening this business, because while I started working, I was the only man working in this company. Until now, there are not much employees. So the
Right.
reason that the reason that I can actually work with this is because I've learned different things in college. Plus, coming back to academics, that has always helped me a lot, because no business, or probably no industry in the country at this moment, or in the world at this particular era, can go without IT, or probably anything
Right.
that engineering might teach you. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
a mechanical person, you can probably learn a lot about CAD designing. I mean, I learned CAD designing after college because I needed it for my company. If you're an electrical guy, you can probably learn something about, let's say, networks. So all these things can still help you in your business. For me, I was an IT student. For me, learning IT helped me a lot, because when I wanted to make my own website, I could do it by myself. I could save some money in the beginning, and now I can even spend right now. But then earlier, when I did not have much funds, I could do it myself. So that's how
Right.
academics helped me a lot. Plus all the clubs and chapters, BD, marketing, and sales and everything. So all because of all this, I could run my company for 3 months, being the single employee, director, salesman, marketing person, or whatever.
Right. So,
Yeah.
for a lot of us, the biggest issue is what society or what our parents would say, and a lot of things depend on how supportive our family is uh, while we take such this bigger risk. So, in what ways was your family supportive throughout this?
Okay. Like you said, we all have that stigma that what might people say about what we're doing. So the biggest thing about this particular point is that people are always going to talk. I
Yeah.
mean, some people like to talk, some people like to do. So if you're a doer, you should not care about the talkers,
Right.
because they will never stop. I mean, a lot of people always used to tell me that, your dad has a business, you can probably just go out, do well for yourself. You don't even actually have to do something for yourself. So this thing, I've heard this thing for the majority of my life, and because of this, I've always had this stigma that I never wanted to join my dad's business, because people would think that I'm not capable of doing anything, and I might just go sit at that particular place and earn money because of my dad. I mean, so I always had this stigma, and because of this, I actually delayed my whole plan of Casino for a year, because I wanted to apply for a job. But at the moment when I realized that it doesn't really matter what people say about me, because after college ends, and at this moment when I'm sitting at my house and I'm chilling, I'm actually doing good for myself, those people aren't really gonna matter. So biggest advice, don't really care what people say. I mean, a lot of people used to say a lot of shit to me, but you can always move past that. And talking about parents, my parents are actually very supportive. I mean, those are one of the things I can say I'm blessed with the family business. I'm really blessed with good parents. They were very supportive. So my dad actually told me while I was starting this. So opened my company in May 2nd, 2020. So he told me that I will let you run this company by yourself for a year and see how you actually do. If you're not doing well, I'm gonna take it from you. I mean, that makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
then if you actually do well for yourself, you can run it on your own. I mean, he was a little skeptical in the start that running a company by myself, a private limited firm, because it's very difficult to open close a private limited firm. So they were a little skeptical, but yes, they always believed in me, and I think that is one of the reasons I can actually believe in myself.
That's great.
So yeah.
Yeah, so now, I'm sure there are a lot of competitors and designers in the diamond market or any market for that matter. I'm sure people also have preferences when it comes to something this expensive, like diamonds. How do you manage to stand out with such tough competition?
So talking about sales first. So I had attended this sales seminar in Sri Lanka back in second year. I went through ISEC, and it was a great seminar where I learned a lot about sales. So there's this methodology called spin methodology. I mean, if you ever have time, go read about it. So it teaches you a lot about selling a product. I mean, making the person in front of you believing that they actually know this product. I mean, need this product. So once you actually make a person in front of you believe that they need this product rather than actually trying to, force it on them, they will buy it themselves. So this is one thing that I always remembered while, making my sales strategies or while making my marketing strategies, that जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. I mean, if
Right.
it's actually out there, people will buy it. So
Hmm.
with the competition was relatively low because currently there are only three companies that are doing retail for lab-grown diamond jewelry, including Casino, and the competition was relatively low. But you could say the challenges were relatively high because one of the biggest challenge was making people believe in lab-grown diamonds. So, if I had to conclude all this, I would say how I actually worked through it was making fine marketing strategies. There's a lot about marketing that I learned through college, and what I implemented in these marketing strategies were the good design, I mean, the benefits of these products, and trying to put out everything that people might believe in,
Right.
that people might connect to rather than believing in. If you see, let's say if there's a customer who's trying to buy a ring for their wedding and they have a budget of 50K, so it's very difficult to buy a solitaire diamond, a natural diamond in 50K. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible. You'll either get a small diamond or probably a bad quality diamond.
Yeah.
At that moment, if my company's ad is right there in front of them, which says directly that natural or real diamond 60% cheaper. I mean, it's just an example. We don't really do
Yeah.
ads like those, but something like this could actually help me convert a customer, or at least help me get a lead. Converting it is still a secondary thing. So
Right.
all these things, trying to figure out what are the key points and what are the pressure points that my product has, the USP of my product, and where it hurts or where it hits. Finding those things out helped me a lot, in building those marketing as well as the sales strategies. Other than that, we're still, collecting feedback from all our customers. So I would be able to tell you more once the whole year is done.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, it has helped a lot.
Besides your own ideas and inspiration, were there any other things that helped you understand your goal better? Any projects or internships, and any difficulties that you made you understand how to do things further?
Okay, yeah. So the firstly, I was never a techie, and I mean, I've not done a single internship in college. I used to be really scared, thinking that all my mates are actually very good at coding and they're doing well for themselves, but I cannot code, I cannot do all this stuff. So I used to be scared. But then I realized it doesn't really matter, and I started focusing more on my co-curriculars. So one of the biggest learning that I've had through my co-curriculars is from one of my experience in ISEC. So I was VP OGE in ISEC in VIT, which was
Okay.
one of the best experiences of my life. It was a 1 year tenure. So after that, I applied for president, and I did not get it. I lost my elections. There were two people for this post, and I lost my elections. And at that time, I was devastated. I mean, for 6 months, I remember I could not go out of my house. I used to meet my friends. They used to come to my house. They used to be like, you should come out. I was like, I don't really want to, because I think at that time I was trying to figure out what actually my goal is. Because till that point, I was just doing what everyone was doing, even though I was doing it well. But then I was still doing what everyone was doing. So I was trying to understand what my goal was. So I took those 6 months. I mean, it was not a great time, but I think I cherished those moments because it helped me realize what my actual goal was. And my actual goal, when I realized, was actually to have a good life, to have a very, very ethical life, and a rich one. I mean, I say it very, very proudly and openly that all I ever wanted to do was earn a lot of money,
Right.
because I think that that's gonna help me get a good life. I am woke about these different topics, women empowerment and everything, but I never thought that I'm gonna make a career there, or I had any inspiration to go there. But I was always inspired, driven to earn good money.
Right.
So when I realized that, okay, in the end, my actual goal is to earn money, and that is exactly what I want to do. I can do it through any channel. probably through this industry, probably through that industry. So after those 6 months, I realized that life is all about moving on. I mean, if I even if I have failed somewhere, I have probably learned something. And using that learning, I can move on, go to the next opportunity, work there, learn even more, then go to the next opportunity, learn even more, and then go to my final choice. Okay, now this is something very serious. This is not college. I cannot fail here. Even though I might, but I cannot fail here. Let's do it now. So
Right.
with all this mindset of moving on, not actually getting stuck because of something, I moved on after ISEC. I applied for Rivera coordinator. I was in my third year. I passed that. Then I started applying for the organizer. But then I realized that okay, probably I should just leave college now and go start something of my own.
Yeah. Great. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you.
Okay, thank you so much, Vardhika and Gauri, for this interview. And lastly, I would just say that you guys are doing a great job. I'm saying it again, but kudos to Sarthak, and I really love your magazine.
Thank you
So
so much.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.